Hello, CNG 124. Welcome to Wednesday, the midweek check-in. Going through the two discussions that are posted already. When you start to work with the other subnettings, classes A and B, just remember to look at that video before diving into it. The visual detail of Packet Tracer has changed from yellow to blue, but everything else is still relatively in the same spot. So if you download either one, should be the same, even though 7.2 I recommend going to that one, so that one's more universal. 7.1 was somewhat restricted. Going back to the content, when we start to look at routers and pulling the information from routers, go to assignments, and we start getting into, oops, that's last week. There we go. When we started looking at the assignment of routers, not only are we identifying the physical router, which is the 1941, but you start looking at how to get into the router and access specific things. When you're looking at Lab 15, realize that I don't walk you through every single little bit. It just says by default all switch ports are enabled. When you go to set up your own routers eventually, you can manually configure everything, or you can just put I forget, there's another button. It's either a yes no question, the command prompt here, once you log into it. But realize that when you look at every device, it's going to have these tabs here across the top. Those are only for you to troubleshoot, not to actually configure the machine through. In a real life situation, there will not be these tabs here. It will just be straight terminal and then entering the commands. So when you get this box, when you get this box right here, continue with configuration dialog, you can click no, and that gets you to the next screen. Remember, I still didn't fix those. The A's, B's, and C's are thrown off. I don't know why they're coming in as different letters this time, but they should have been A, B, C's, and D's. Remember your first lab that you did this week, learning the router. It applies to the second lab where you're clicking enable or you're entering enable, and it pulls you to different levels of configuration you're allowed to do. There we go. That's the best one. So when you move through chapter 15, make sure you go have this printed out, go line by line, crossing off what you have done, or I'd even just next to the symbol here, maybe put like a check mark through it, meaning you already did it, to help yourself keep at a rate just in case something distracts you when you're in the middle of a process. This lab I would recommend doing a few times because we use the same setup throughout till the end of the course. Like I said in the start of this week, the first couple labs I give you like this, they will be completely set up and they'll have devices and cords already connected, but then after a while you're going to be making the you're going to be dragging and dropping in the 1941 router. With the 1941 router, you're going to be putting in the expansion cards that you need to complete the lab. So make sure you're walking through the labs at least a few times to make sure you understand how to do this concept. Very important. I believe, I'll do 15 a couple times just to make sure that you understand it completely. This week there's just a quiz due. Next week I believe is our test. I'm covering everything up until then. Subnetting 5, a little different than we're used to, but make sure you take your time. Write out your 8 dashes. Very, very useful there. And I'll check in this weekend.